The rivalry between East Coast and West Coast gangsters was fierce. Each side claimed to be the best, the most powerful, the most feared. The East Coast gangsters were known for their sophistication, their connections, their ability to manipulate the system. They operated in the shadows, pulling the strings of politicians and law enforcement alike. They were the kings of the concrete jungle, ruling with an iron fist and a silver tongue. On the other side of the country, the West Coast gangsters were a different breed. They were more brazen, more violent, more unpredictable. They operated in the open, flaunting their power and their wealth for all to see. They were the kings of the streets, ruling through fear and intimidation. They were the ones you didn't want to cross, the ones you didn't want to mess with. The East Coast gangsters had their legendary figures, the likes of Al Capone, Lucky Luciano, and John Gotti. They were the masterminds, the strategists, the ones who played the long game. They built empires that lasted for decades, amassing wealth and power beyond imagination. They were the ones who could make or break a man with a single word, a single gesture. But the West Coast gangsters had their own legends. Figures like Mickey Cohen, Bugsy Siegel, and Raymond Washington. They were the enforcers, the muscle, the ones who got their hands dirty. They were the ones who could take out a rival with a single bullet, who could instill fear in the hearts of their enemies with a single glance. The rivalry between East Coast and West Coast gangsters reached its peak in the 1990s, with the infamous feud between the East Coast's Notorious B.I.G. and the West Coast's Tupac Shakur. The two rappers traded insults and threats in their music, stoking the flames of an already volatile situation. In the end, both men paid the ultimate price for their involvement in the gangster lifestyle, falling victim to the violence and betrayal that defined their world. In the end, it's hard to say who was the best, the East Coast gangsters with their cunning and their connections, or the West Coast gangsters with their brutality and their bravado. But one thing is for certain, the legacy of both sides will live on in the annals of gangster lore, forever immortalized in the stories of their rise and fall.